Hello everyone, my name is Meenakshi and I'm doing a video series on the Constitution of India. So in previous videos, I have discussed about few of the important topics on Constitution of India. So every Sunday we will be doing a Q&A session based on some objective type questions on the topics that we discussed. So today is the day one of this Q&A session. It is 19th of April and we would start with some of the objective type questions that you can expect from the introduction and the background part. So introduction and background as in mainly some of the questions relating to drafting or maybe regarding the basic questions that you can expect from the Constitution of India. So today we have 7 questions. We will discuss in detail about the options given because 4 options would be given for each of the questions. So we will discuss in detail about all of those options as well. So if you haven't watched the discussion videos on Constitution of India, I would leave a link to those videos and the playlist as well. So you can click on those links and watch all the other videos on Constitution of India. So in today's video, we will start with questions and answers on introduction and background of the Indian Constitution. So let's begin. Okay, now the first question that we have is, Indian Constitution originally had how many articles, parts and schedules? So we know that Indian Constitution is having many articles. Those are divided into various parts and then we have schedules as well. So it is asking at the time of inception of the Constitution of India, that is originally before any amendments were made, how many articles, parts and schedules we had in the Indian Constitution. So how many we had in the Indian Constitution? It is options are 395, 22 parts, 8 schedule, 325, 20 parts, 8 schedule, 320 articles, 22 parts, 7 schedules, 392, 22 parts and 9 schedules. So what is the correct option? Correct option is the first one, 395 articles divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules. So this is something that we discussed in our initial classes also, right? That how many articles were there at the time of inception? It is 395 articles divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules. We would now move to the next question. Next question is, as on date, the Constitution of India consists of, again it is similar only, right? This is at the time of inception of the Constitution before any amendments were made, and this is as on date. So as on date, how many parts, articles and schedules we have? It is 448 articles, 26 part, 12 schedule, 448, 26, 10, 448, 22, 8, 448, 25, 12. So the correct option is the last one. 448 articles divided into 25 parts and 12 schedules we have as on date in the Constitution of India. Now, if you see the Barract of Indian Constitution, what is the last article that you see? It's not 448. The last article that you would see in the Constitution Barract is 395. Why is it so that we have the last article as 395? Like, are we using the old Barract or what is the issue? 395 is the last article that we can see in the Barract of Indian Constitution. Why is it so? Because whenever any amendment is being made to the Constitution of India, it is not necessary that any articles that they want to insert, it should be inserted after 395. It is not necessary that articles should be 396, 397 and so on. Wherever and whenever they want, they can insert those articles. That means in between also they can insert. For example, we had Article 51. Now they felt that we need to make some changes and we need something called as fundamental duties. They felt that it should be given after the directive principles. So what they did is that rather than providing it as a separate Article 396, what they did is that after Article 51, they inserted another provision, Article 51A. So like that, by giving other numbers, they have inserted many other provisions, right? Article 21A, Article 51A, and there are many other provisions which are inserted. That is why we see that the last article is still 395. But if we count the articles that were added later on, like Article 21A, Article 51A, if we count all of those articles, then the final number would be 448 articles. And the parts that we have are 25 parts, and we have a total of 12 schedules as on date. So these two questions are very important no matter what exam you are appearing for. It may be CLAT UG, it may be CLAT PG, it may be NET, it may be any other exam, it may be even LLB semester exam. But these questions are very important and very basic questions. So you should remember these numbers, that it is 395 articles divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules at the time when Constitution of India came into force. And as on date, we have 448 articles, 25 parts and 12 schedules. Let's move to the next question. So the next question is regarding the Indian Constitution is what kind of a constitution that they are asking. That Indian Constitution is firstly an unwritten constitution, secondly a written constitution, thirdly largely based on Government of India Act 1935, and lastly a gift of British Parliament. Now here options are not like one option would be correct. They have given a combinations, right? That means two of these four options would be correct. So any two of these would be correct and two would be incorrect. So what are the correct options? Firstly, it says an unwritten constitution. What is unwritten constitution? We see that our constitution was drafted properly, provisions were added and everything, right? We have a detailed preamble, detailed constitution. It's a written document that we have. We can look for the Barract of Indian Constitution also. That means this option is not correct, right? An unwritten constitution. This option is not correct. So what is an unwritten constitution? Are there any countries that are having unwritten constitutions in this world? Option is yes. Because why unwritten constitution? There are countries that are having unwritten constitution. For example, Israel do not have a written constitution, right? They did make attempts to draft a formal document, but they have some basic laws or some basic rights, and we can consider it as a semi-constitutional, semi-constitution, right? But it is not like a proper written document where everything would be mentioned. So same is the case with New Zealand and United Kingdoms. They are also not having like one single document where all the provisions and everything is mentioned, like the Constitution of India. They do have a branch of, like acts, court cases, principles, or certain other documented conventions that they follow, and they give it like a status of a supreme law, but they do not have a written constitution. But in case of India, what we have a written constitution. So this option is correct, that we have a written constitution, a very elaborate constitution we have. Next option is largely based on Government of India Act 1935. So this point also we discussed when we were doing the background of Constitution of India, right? That we had multiple legislations, and the last one was Government of India Act 1935. After that, the Constitution of India came, and so what happened? Many of the provisions from Government of India Act were borrowed to the Constitution of India. That means this option is also correct, that the Constitution of India is largely based on the Government of India Act 1935. Now let's look at the next option, a gift of British Parliament. So is it a gift of British Parliament, the constitution that we are following? Definitely not. It is after independence that the Constitution of India was drafted, it was adopted, and it was brought into force, right? So it is definitely not a gift of the British Parliament. It was the Indian leaders who ultimately brought the Constitution of India. So we have option B and C, which are correct options. So which one is giving B and C? It is the second one. So option B and C are correct in reference to this, that Constitution of India is a written constitution and is largely based on the Government of India Act 1935. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is regarding the structure of Indian Constitution. So what kind of structure Indian constitution is having? Basically, it is a type of feature that we have to the Constitution of India. So what are the options? Federal in form, but unitary in spirit. Unitary in form and federal in spirit, purely federal. Okay, so is the Constitution of India purely federal? What is federal? That powers are given to the states as well. So Indian Constitution is not purely federal. Why? Because definitely powers are given to the states. They do have like authority to make laws or some other regulations regarding matters that would affect them, but it is not purely federal. We do have a central government as well that is there to monitor or that is there to take part whenever needed. So option D is not the correct one, that purely federal. It is not a purely federal constitution. Next is unitary in form and federal in spirit. So is it unitary in form? It is not unitary in form. If you look at the Constitution of India, there is division of power between center and state. So the form of government that we follow, it is not unitary in form. So this option is also not correct option. Next is unitary. Unitary means that only the central government is there. States are not given any power or any authority to, like make laws or rules regarding their matters. Is it correct? It is also not the correct option. Indian Constitution is not unitary constitution. What is the option that we are left with? Federal in form but unitary in spirit. So this is the correct answer, that the Constitution of India is federal in form but unitary in spirit. Why is it so? Because in Constitution of India, there is division of power between the central government and the state governments that we have. Right? States are given the right to take decisions in respect to certain matters that would affect the state. But what happens? States are definitely given powers, but if there is a need, right? Like emergency provisions, the central government is given the authority to take over the matters relating to state. That means it is in form, it is unitary, but whenever needed, it is unitary in spirit. That means states are given powers, but the spirit is unitary, that whenever needed, there are provisions that central government would take over the powers or the charges of matters relating to state also. So this is the correct option, federal in form but unitary in spirit. So this is also a feature of the Indian Constitution. If you are writing about features of Constitution of India, you can definitely mention this provision and you can explain it saying that powers are divided between central and state. There is concurrent list also, what happens in terms of emergency, who takes over powers, and all of those things you can explain under this point. So remember this, federal in form but unitary in spirit is the structure of Constitution of India. Now let's move to the next option that we have. Indian Constitution was adopted on which date? Is it 25th of November 1949, 28th of January 1950, 15th of August 1947, 26th of November 1949? Which date, on which of these dates the Constitution of India was adopted? You should read this particular provision very carefully because they are asking for the date of adoption of the Constitution of India. So is it 25th of November 1949? No, this is not the correct option. 28th of January 1950 is also not the correct option. 15th of August 1947, this is the date of independence, not the correct option. The last option that we are left with is 26th of November 1949. So on this particular date, the Constitution of India was adopted. So if you look at the preamble to Indian Constitution, you would see this particular date is mentioned in the preamble as well. So preamble mentions that the Constitution of India is adopted on 26th of November 1949, and this particular date is very important for you to remember. You can expect questions on these dates and the number of articles, number of parts, and all of that. So it is 25th of November 1949. Now let's move to the next question. It is question number 6. the Constitution of India came into force? Again, this is similar to the previous question that we discussed, but this is date of adoption. And this is when it came into force. The adoption as in the Constitution was finally accepted, but came into force as in the date when Constitution became applicable. The options are 26th of November 1949, 26th of January 1950, 15th August 1950, and 26th of January 1950. So the first option is definitely not the correct one, right? It is the date of adoption only, not when the Constitution of India came into force. Second is 28th of January 1950, also not the correct option. 15th August 1950, again not the correct option. So we are left with 26th of January 1950. This is the correct option that we will have to select. It is the date when Constitution of India came into force. That means after the Constitution was adopted on this particular date, there was a time of 2 months when the Constitution of India finally became effective. That means the provisions of Constitution of India became applicable to in India. So it is 26th of January 1950. Make sure to read this properly, that it is date of adoption, and this is when it became effective or when the Constitution came into force. Now let's move to the last question that we have. Last question is on Constitution Day of India. So when Constitution Day of India is celebrated? This is again a very important day. When is it celebrated? Is it 26th of October, November, January, or 15th of August? When is it celebrated? It is not 26th of October. On this date, nothing happened. 26th of January is also not the correct option because we celebrate Republic Day on this particular date, right? 15th August is the Independence Day. Then we are left with this option, 26th of November. Now, this is what day is it? This is the day when Constitution of India was adopted, right? So this particular day is celebrated as Constitution Day of India, or also National Law Day. It is also celebrated as National Law Day. So you should remember this thing, National Law Day or Constitution Day. It is 26th of November. Why is this day celebrated? Because we want to acknowledge the efforts of the framers of the Constitution of India. So this day is celebrated as Constitution Day or National Law Day. You must have seen that on this particular day, right? 26th of November, you would see many events, many seminars, or many other like lectures and others are conducted based on any legal issues or legal topics. So why is it done? It is only because they want to celebrate this particular day, Constitution Day or National Law Day. It is 26th of November when the Constitution of India was adopted. And this particular day, 26th of January, we celebrate as Republic Day. So these were the questions that we had from the introduction and background part. We will continue in next Sunday with some other questions relating to maybe preamble or some other provisions of the Constitution. So this part would continue till the time we finish Constitution of India. Some questions and answers every Sunday related to the topics that we will discuss throughout the week. So that was all for today's discussion. We will continue with question number 8 in the next class. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.